When we feed someone with one hand and they bite the other, it's a surefire sign to stay the
Put your feelings aside, give that one shot a try. I'm not that girl.
Sharon H rolling out my weekly dose of unapologetic candidness. Keep watching all the way to the end for my real raw take on types of people you can't help. I'm sure the most of us has tried to help someone against our better judgment, and it's come back to bite our ass. We've been left feeling bitter, angry, more so at ourselves, and regretting not listening to our gut instinct. I guess we put our readiness to see the potential for good in others ahead of our own good common sense. It's backfired, cut deep, but hopefully served as a good lesson learned. For as much as we like to think we can help others, we're applicable. Sad fact of the matter, trying to help anyone that won't get out of their own way to help themselves is always going to backfire. We all need a little help sometime, but the very most of us also realize if we want something, we're going to have to put in the effort to help ourselves too. When we are dealing with someone who doesn't want to help themselves, or more so, doesn't think they should have to, seriously, what fucking hope would we have? I'd like to think the majority have the capacity and willingness to change, especially the young. I know myself, I was a headstrong, defiant little turd in my younger years, but that person is nothing like the person I am today. I believe, unless bad to the bone, most are capable of change, but they must also want to change. They have to want to help themselves if they want help from others. Hit that like button if you agree. The forever wronged victim mentalities of this world will be too invested in making excuses for their screw up, as opposed to investing energy into growth and change. Whilst for the most part, I don't think it's any of our right to force another to change. But if they expect help or handouts from us, they can't expect it to be all their way either. People who simply refuse to take any ownership for their wrongdoings are hardly likely to put in any efforts to change. When they refuse to ever hold themselves accountable, everything will forever be someone else's fault. Naturally, in life, some things will be out of our control, and others will do things that will have a domino effect of shitty consequences for us. But it's very unlikely that all that does not go right for us will be to the detriment of another. We all, for the most part, have choices, and sometimes the choices we choose are simply the wrong ones. It's those choices, both good and bad, that have led us to where we are right now. Our own actions and part of getting ahead in life. Progressing, evolving, is to be able to honestly see which choices we drop the fucking ball on. But when we are dealing with someone that point blank refuses to see their stuff-ups, flaws, and shortcomings, no matter what we do with them, no matter what we do for them, we won't change jack shit in their lives for them. Because ultimately, these people need to get up, level up, and change their ways. Sometimes we are dealing with an egocentric, self-entitled narcissist, and their blame game and arrogance is typically strong. They'll be the first to throw shade or judgment, but they ride on delusions of grandeur when it comes to themselves. Self-righteous, indignant, and believe themselves need not change for anything or anyone. With high expectations of others, bending over backwards and modifying themselves to suit them. They will turn in a blink if others point out their idiosyncrasies or mention the effort they themselves must put in to get a leg up in life. It's likely they have blinkers on to anything negative about themselves, for they see nothing beyond their own nose. Even when what's holding them back is clear as the fucking nose on their face to others, they are closed-minded and will be condescending and patronizing because they feel superior and righteous and think nothing of their behavior. They believe their problems lie on others' shoulders or their environment. There's always a contributing factor that is not them. I'm unsure on some level whether they must know they're the obstacle standing in their own way. They get on the defensive and habitually protest too much. But somewhere inside, they most likely are afraid. Anyone with deception imprinted on their soul, I believe, in impossible to help. Their cunning would prohibit us ever understanding their game. Sure, there may be some warning signs, but their charms and powers of persuasion are often laced with trickery to lure in the good at heart, because they sure know how to lay on the syrupy sweetness when they want something from us. But how fast that can turn bitter when they've taken or been denied what they want from us. We're all somewhat different in public to what we are in private, and our moral codes rarely differ. The rat cunning cannot be trusted because they often lack a moral compass. They will tell us what we want to hear to achieve what they're after, then kick our feet out from under us sooner than look at us once we deliver or refuse. Sometimes we've surrendered to their persuasions and given in to them before we realize we are being hoodwinked. Sometimes we give in to them because we like peace, and it's easier than dealing with the impending aftermath of saying no. We must try to listen to our gut before giving a hand to anyone we sense we cannot trust. We do not completely know their intentions. We could be stepping a dangerous path and being connived out of much more than we realize, or at the very least further enabling their behavior by giving in to their demands. It's especially hard not to be fooled when the rat cunning and deceptive play on our emotions. We know full well they are not going to use our help for the greater good. They know all the cues and tricks in the book to play our sympathies like a fiddle. Even when our good common sense is warning us we cannot fall for these kinds of games. These people are willing to do anything and everything to get what they want, even at the cost of friendship. When they continue to disrespect our boundaries and rather see our generosity as a given and no loss to us, whether it be our time, our energy, or from our own hip pocket. Forever give and take, so long as it's us always giving and them always taking. Never in a million years do these kinds ever consider doing anything to return the favor, because in their mind it's not a favor, it's their entitlement. We should simply be there at their beck and call. We'll fast become enemy number one if we begin to wise up to the lopsided dynamic. I'm sure the most of us have had someone we bent over backwards to try to help, dropped everything and genuinely put our heart and soul into being there for them day and night, only for them to then fucking screw us left ways, up ways, and sideways. They will do anything in their power to use our good nature against us, and won't hesitate in trying to turn others against us with it. We just can't help people that are untrustworthy any more than we can help lazy, unmotivated moochers. At the end of the day, it's not our job to help them. Not to say that we shouldn't help anyone, as I'm a big believer in being there for others. But sometimes it's too unhealthy a dynamic that is not good for our soul. The best way we can help sometimes is by letting them figure it out for themselves. Because anyone who is quite capable of sorting out their own shit, but uses everything as a crutch as to why they cannot, will just continue the vicious cycle of draining us until we have nothing left in us to give. We can't keep putting ourselves on the line for anyone that wouldn't piss on us if we were on fire. Instead of wasting our time trying to help these kind, putting some distance between them and ourselves is often the wisest option. There is nothing more heartbreaking than putting yourself out for someone, being good to them, then finding out they're disloyal. I believe true friends say shit to your face and good things behind your back. My friends know I'm a shit stirrer, and if I tease them to their face, I like them. I'm not saying I'm above talking ill of someone who's wronged me to my friends, but I'm also not going to ask them for help. When we feed someone with one hand and they bite the other, it's a surefire sign to stay the fuck away from them. Betray us once, they'll betray us twice. And odds are they've betrayed us more times than we know, too. People that we've been good to that do not defend our name in our absence are not our friend. And why the hell would we put ourselves out to help someone that is clearly not our friend? We can't help someone that always just sees the negatives. They'd rather see doom and gloom even when there's sunshine and roses right there in front of them. They then wonder why their lives going to shit rapidly. Sadly, when we surround ourselves with those full of pessimism, they'll soon start to drown out our optimism. We are the sum part of the company we keep. And when that company is negative, toxic, miserable, and backbiting, the more doubtful those are around us, the more chances we too shall become doubtful. Same goes with those forever giving up, forever quitting on something. Those that notoriously change jobs or relationships, struggle with commitment or giving their all to anything. There's always an excuse why they threw it away, and odds are it's always someone else's fault. They were mistreated or downtrodden. They were misunderstood or taken advantage of. Sure, of course, this shit happens, but when there's a continuance, one has to bloody wonder. Even so, if the penny just doesn't drop, something needs to change. If not with them personally, then with their choices. And if they refuse to see that, odds are we won't be able to open their eyes to it either. They stuck in a loser mentality simply won't ever stand on the winner's podium until they start to live, breathe, and think like a winner. It's easier to throw in the towel and admit defeat than to get up every day and grind like a motherfucker towards betterment. We simply cannot continue to be the fuel to their fire. It's frustrating, and hard as it is, some people we simply can't help. Sometimes the best way to help some is to let them figure out they've got to help them bloody selves. Thanks for watching. See ya.
Break out of your shell, meet me halfway.